Thokozan, sanbonan. Okay, Thokozan. Can we please do a mic check? Thokoza. Can we please do a mic check? Quick mic check. Please make sure that you can hear me nice and clearly and loudly. And also please make sure you can see the screen in front of you. Thokoza. I can see you all. Thank you for joining. Thank you to everyone pulling in. Thokozani, thank you very much for taking the time to join us. Thank you very much. We're just gonna wait a couple more minutes, maybe 10 more minutes or so, and then we'll begin because we're scheduled to start at exactly 4 o'clock. I just like to have the first 15 minutes just to sort out any sound issues, viewing, just any kind of technical problems as well. So thank you very much. Thank you. We'll start in about 10 minutes or so. So if you want to get something to drink, if you want to get your notepads and pens with your family trees, because guys, again, you can't carry on with this lesson without your family tree, because this lesson is going to be a continuation. Remember what I said to you, we're looking back. So you should have a nice big, so in your book, you should have a nice, the front, remember in the front, it's going to be your family tree. In the back is going to be umpahla wako and your dreams. In the front, you should have a nice big page for your family tree. And today I'm going to teach, so every lesson I'm going to teach you what kind of question you should be asking your grandparents, what kind of conversation you should be having. So today, we're going to be looking at a deeper level of the family history. So yeah, let's just wait a couple more minutes, maybe 10 more minutes on my side, and then we'll tuck into today's lesson. So if you want to get something to drink, then please do that. Thokoza mtimkhulu, bonga mina baba, bonga mina bongani. And welcome to our YouTube viewers as well, those that are following us on our YouTube channel. Welcome to you guys, welcome. We are still trying to work because we have 4 social media platforms and we're trying to simulcast across all 4 of them at the same time. The team is on top of it. My team is on top of it. They're definitely working on a way to try and to simulcast across all 4 platforms at the same time. We'll definitely come up with a plan for that. But thank you very much to the YouTube guys that are joining us today, that may or may not have a Facebook account. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of the Facebook followers as well that are joining us. Yeah, let's just give it a few more minutes and then we'll tuck in. Okay, so since everybody can hear me loud and clearly, right? And we've got a bit of time on our hands to spare just to let people trickle in. If you've got any questions from any of the lessons from before, not a bad idea. You can ask them now and I'll answer them for you. So any questions from the previous lectures and classes that you have at the moment, let's just tuck into them now. Whilst we wait for, maybe I can take a couple of questions. We've got about 10 minutes or so, and we can answer a couple of questions, that you may have had from last week's class. So if you got any questions from last week, even if it's from the very first class, that's all right. Let's just use this time while we wait for people to trickle in, because they were aware that we're starting at 4 o'clock. Let's just use this time for any questions from the previous classes or lectures. Hi, Kan. Yeah, we'll definitely consider playing some music. But actually, let me tell you what's going to happen in the future with this extra 15 minutes. So for instance, the next program is going to be Ukuzala Wembete. And Ukuzala Wembete, what I'm going to be doing with the next couple of classes, I'm going to be getting in different experts that are actually in the field. So for instance, Ukuzala Wembete, I'm going to be speaking to a gynecologist who's in the field, who's very experienced, very seasoned. They've actually seen these kind of phenomenons happen. And I'm going to be using these first 15 minutes to actually show the pre-recorded conversation between myself and a different expert of the same problem that we're looking at. So Ukuzala Wembete, I'm going to use this first 15 minutes to look at it from a spiritual perspective, and then I'm going to give you guys the commentary and analysis from an expert who's actually seeing and dealing with children abazala wembete from a medical side of things. That's how I intend to actually use this 15 minutes in the future. But thank you very much for your suggestion. We will definitely take that into consideration, myself and the team. I don't see any other questions popping up, so I think we might start in 2 minutes. We're going to start quite soon, maybe in the next 2-3 minutes. If no questions. Okay, we have a question here. Let me just pop it up on the screen. Okay, how do you know when you're ready to start the journey of Uktwasa? Sorry. Okay, sure. So Uktwasa is obviously something I'm going to speak about later in more detail, but to simply answer your question, Uktwasa actually begins before the calling. So a calling, there are other smaller callings that go along the journey, right? Answering your calling to go to that particular course, answering your calling to go study abroad or to go work abroad, answering the calling to take a particular job, right? Anything that takes you through an experience physically also grows you spiritually. Answering those smaller calling builds you up to answering the bigger calling. Answering the bigger calling is actually saying, okay, fine, that's answering the calling. But if you have not completed answered the smaller callings on your way to there and on your journey to there, then you're never going to feel comfortable, you're never going to be ready to answer the big calling. And to answer your question simply, Itongo will literally come to you and say, listen, it's time for you to get a peshwen. Or sometimes people sleepwalk and they actually end up egcegeni of ukobela that they are meant to be initiated at. If intwaso yako requires initiation, remember some intwaso doesn't require initiation and ukobela. Okay? I hope it answers that question. I've got another question here from Sky. Question from the first class. What are the rules regarding Ukphahla? Your dad's side akazange bahlawulo but did imbeleko. How does it work with Ukphahla using 2 candles? Thank you. Okay. Because ubaba wakho akahlawulanga kalobolanga kusho ukuthi isibongo sakho usikama wakho, right? You must use your mother's maiden surname, right? Therefore, ngesikhathi uphahla ubiza bama wakho. Phela. That's it. Even though you did imbeleko for ubaba wakho's side, it doesn't mean that usungababiza. Yes, it's great that you have imbeleko, good, but you have imbeleko from isibongo that ubaba wakho didn't do imfanelo for. So ngesikhathi uphahla with 2 candles, biza mawakho kuphela and only stick to isibongo sika mawakho. That's it. Okay. Cool. Here's another one. And also, if you keep consulting traditional healers and they tell you unabadala, but you don't have dreams and your ancestors are communicating with you, hold on. Gwabe, ngizama ukuthola your first question. I can't see it here because I'm assuming. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Sia, will you cover on how to perform rituals and which one can we use? Services of a traditional healer. Okay, I'm definitely going to have a rituals lecture. Not next week, but the week after. But what I will say for you now is that inyanga, regardless of what ritual it is, should not aphathise umsebenzi. That's the golden rule of thumb. I think we've spoken about this. Dr. Mkhize has also spoken about this. Indaba yokuthi inyanga ifika ini iphatha umsebenzi for nina is not appropriate. Inyanga should say to you, okay, fine, you need to do imbeleko for ingane, or you need to do umhlonyani or umemolo, and so on and so forth. And then Nina, you go home and you do it according to the way you were taught. But I will definitely tuck into this further on. Let's just answer your second question. Also, if you keep consulting traditional healers about unabadala, but you don't have dreams and your ancestors are communicating with you. If you don't have dreams, then there was a communication issue or there was a barrier. Sometimes imibona ayiveli ngoba you're not recognized as ingane. You're not recognized by your ancestors. Remember, dreams are forms of communication. You can't communicate to someone whom you don't recognize spiritually. So it was imbeleko done. Do you have the correct surname? Those are the kinds of limitations spiritually that can get in the way of you not having dreams at all. But I'll tuck into that in the rituals lecture that's going to come up later on. Okay, got about 5 more minutes, so I'll just answer a few. How do you identify a person to help you with your calling? I have a calling, but I don't have a helper. Okay, so I'm actually gonna. Okay, so the team is going to. I'm gonna ask them to upload a video on the morning show that I was on, and I was actually speaking about how do you know what gobela to go to, and how do you choose gobela. Intwaso yakho, right, is determined and guided and directed by itongo namatongo. If itongo lakho does not require you utwasa ngokobela, then you are not going to find a helper, or gobela, if you want to call it, in let's give it an English word, helper. If I said that again, itongo lingazithwasisa yona, right? In the sense that itongo can come to you and say, right, awuyobhukuda olwandle namhlanje, go swim in the ocean today, okay? And at which point that's a form of kushukuts, they want you there. So the small things that itongo will tell you to do and izos twasisa yona if you are not meant to have a ukobela. So we need to remove this idea that you require ukobela in order for you to twasa, which is not the case. So if you can't find one and you've been trying to find one, you need to consider the possibility that you don't need one or you're not supposed to have one. Ngoba khona abantu abafika esigodlweni sasemlambomunye ubaba athi cha yazini kumele ukuthi uthwase la esigodlweni sasemlambomunye, but I'm not meant to go to amthwasis. And ngambela ubaba akenzi lutho. That person just arrives and they help out where they help out and they learn and whatever. They don't ubaba akamthwasisi. Idlozi lakhe just wants them to be here as part of intwaso yabo. Or Idlozi labo is just like, no, we'll do it ourselves. And then Dr. Mkhize stands back and says, when it's time to uti upothula, then I'll step in. But remove that idea that you have to have that you have to have a gobel. You don't necessarily need one. Okay. Is it normal to dream during the day and forget dreams that you dream at night? Yes, dreaming during the day is also normal. If you're having afternoon naps or power naps, you can dream as well. That's absolutely normal. Forgetting dreams, as much as there's a spiritual aspect to it, there's also a neurological aspect to it, because remember when you're sleeping, your brain is at a much higher functioning rate. So that's why we say use your dream book and record your dreams as soon as they happen. So if you have a dream at 1 o'clock, you need to wake up and record it. Don't go back to sleep having already had a dream, because chances are you're going to forget the dream completely. And I'm not saying have details. I'm saying write down as much as you possibly can. Because if you look at my morning show, the episode I did with the morning show, I said on that episode, recording the dream book isn't necessarily about having a full picture or a full story. It's about you getting enough detail or having something to work with so that for the second time, you have a starting point. All right. How safe is it to go and be cleansed in the waterfall? I don't know about Izinyinyanga, Noma, other places of healing, but I know Mlambo is very, very safe. We haven't had any casualties. We've got very well-trained and experienced staff that are taking me through the process. So can't comment for others, but for us, we have never had any casualties, and we've been doing this since 2007. So we've been doing it for 2005. So we've been doing it for over a decade now. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, I'm going to take 2 more and then we will begin. Oh, this will be the last one. See, I have a problem. I will go consult and will be given something to use. I will end up not using them. And I was told I'm not meant to use umuti. I'm a person who's supposed to pray. Yes, that makes complete sense. All right. We need to understand something, guys. Impande is converted to umuti by itongo. You present impande to itongo and you say, please convert this impande herb to umuti. All right. If itonga does not agree with impande oilete yona, then it's not going to work. Yikonje, you're not using them and you're forgetting or you're losing them, because itonga is trying to tell you what angifuni impande, ngifuna umthandazo. Yabo? So umthandazo namanzi ongcwele, right? Holy water and prayer and going to the church and the Bible, that is a form of impande. Let me say this, okay, before I begin. Impande is anything external, right, that you physically go through, okay, and you present to itongo. All right. So going to church is a form of impande. Praying is a form of impande. Having a Bible by your bedside and reading that Bible, I don't know if you're going to do that, is a form of impande. We must get it out of our heads what impande is shasha, noma, it's a concoction. No, impande is a lot of things. Impande can be breast milk. Impande can be chopped up onions boiled. Impande can be your saliva. A whole lot of things can be impande. So if you're forgetting them or you're losing them and you end up not using, then stop going to look for impande. You know, take the time to step back and say, wait. Okay, right. Let's tuck in, everybody. Let's take it from here. I just want to try remove the cap. So, Sanbonani, welcome one and all. Welcome to our YouTube subscribers. Welcome to our Facebook followers. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us on this Monday afternoon for us to discuss indaba amakhosi or amawele and the duality of imimoya. I hope you guys are sitting with your pens and papers and notebooks, because today what I'm going to speak about today is very important, because it is the foundation of human interaction. It is the foundation of relationships. It's the foundation of children. It is the foundation of a lot of things that you require this understanding. If you don't understand the nature of imimoya, the rules and regulation and the laws around imimoya, then we can't even begin to have the discussion of lesbians, gays, transsexual, bisexual, and intersexed. We can't even begin to have the conversation of generational wealth and how to acquire it using from the spiritual perspective. We can't even begin to have conversations around mental illness. So this is possibly the most important lecture after the first one. So let's tuck into it. Okay. So I'm just going to give a quick background on what we've done, what we haven't done. I'm doing this because we've got new people from YouTube who may or may not have not joined us. So lecture 1, we really tucked into the fundamentals of African spirituality. We looked at the 2 laws of nature, the 3 different parts of man, body, mind, and spirit, and how they all interact with one another. And then finally, we concluded with what is a dream book for? How do we use our dream book? And its significance when it comes to actually using it before we go and consult. I think that's a very good one. If you're a first timer, then please go back and watch that on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. We then moved on to the first lecture, or part 1 of Siyabonga, and those that were here. We started at the beginning, which is with the youngest generation, so the Generation Z, and we worked all our way back up to our great-great-grandparents. Sorry, and we worked our way up to our parents' generation. We looked at the rules and regulations of surname changes, what to do when you want to change surnames, how do you correct mistakes that were done by your parents, how do we correct our mistakes that are done between ourselves and baby mama, baby daddy, husband, wife, fiance, and so on and so forth. So if you're having an issue with baby daddy, baby mama, or there's an issue with your parents, not a bad idea to look at that lecture. And then the third one, assisted conception, was more of not necessarily a spur of the moment one, but one which, when someone asked me a question, I can't remember the gentleman that asked me a question about whether or not the rules and regulations of surnames and identity apply to people that go the route of assisted conception, I thought it would be best for me to have a whole separate lecture. So I really looked at the different kinds of assisted conceptions that are out there or that are available to us internationally, because obviously we have people from other parts of the world watching this on our Facebook and YouTube channel. So I didn't isolate it to only South African and what applies to our South African context. And then I had the special case in which I explained what would you do if you had 3 biological parents for a single child, which actually was the case in the UK. It was just a bit of a curveball in there to test your knowledge, just to see how well you understand what I'm teaching you. And then the final one, just before this one today, was looking at the mistakes done by our grandparents and our great-grandparents, or the decisions taken by our grandparents and great-grandparents, rather. I don't like to use the word mistakes. They're just decisions, good or bad. Just people don't actually know the outcomes of them at the time that they're taking them. So how do we inherit the burdens of the mistake? How do we actually correct and move forward? And actually, that's where we began to talk about how you can actually carry on with the incorrect surname if it skipped a generation. So if you know that your lineage or the problems in your family begin at the 3rd and 4th generation, that is a great lecture for you to go back and watch. So today's education plan or content plan today, guys, we're going to start off by talking about the nature of imimoya, the types of imimoya, and then I'm going to explain to you human interaction and matching imimoya and ancestral spirits. Then we want to look at how imimoya relates to bringing twins about. What do you do if a twin passes away? And then today we are looking at 2 special cases and not one. We're looking at vanishing twin syndrome, which brings about the duality of imimoya, because vanishing twin syndrome is how people end up having 2 ancestral spirits or types of imimoya. And the word ambidextrous is probably not the greatest, but for a lack of a better word, let's use that word. And you can be ambidextrous when it comes to imimoya. And then possibly my favorite one is uterus didelphys. Wow, what do they do? Yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Didelphys. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Basically, umuntu wesifazana who's got 2 wombs. And I'm going to explain to you, I'm not sure exactly the prevalence of it statistically in South Africa, that women having 2 wombs, and what the outcomes are like. I haven't read up on that, I will admit, but I'm just going to explain to you the phenomenon and what does it mean for you from an African spiritual perspective. Okay, so those of you that have actually been following us, you remember that I showed you the 2 laws of African spirituality. And as we go along, we're going to be building the laws of African spirituality for people to understand, because the laws of African spirituality are actually out there in nature as well. The first one I said is that everything in nature strives to max out its potential and reach full expression. In other words, between body, mind, and spirit, okay, all three parts of you need to have full expression and will always strive to reach full expression, always strive to reach potential, right? That is why sometimes abantu mabebevuka imimoya or bavuka ubungoma is because itonga is crying out for attention, and now it is trying to reach full expression. Hence, it's saying, you know what, you're not using your autonomy to help me. I'm going to take over your body and I'm going to express myself. Okay. Then everything in nature always strives to reach balance and equilibrium, right? It's very important, that law, balance and equilibrium. Okay. Today, I'm going to be introducing law number 3, which is important, is that everything will always strive for diversity and work against uniformity or a homogeneous state or family. In other words, diversity is always going to be something that everything in nature strives for, you know? Genetic diversity, diversity in an ecosystem. Diversity is quintessential to any state, family, or community at large, all right? So I want to talk about the types or the nature of imimoya, okay? Simply put, the most basic, there are 2 types of imimoya, isinguni nesindawe, right? I've actually spoken about this before, but today I'm going to go into a bit more detail about isinguni, isindawe, umdigi, umdawe, and umno. Isinguni, right, has then 2 subcategories, umdigi and umdawe, right? I'm accentuating or enunciating umdawe because I don't want us to confuse it with isindawe, right? Isindawe goes on to have its own one category, which is umnono, all right? So what are exactly these imimoya, right? Imimoya is a type, or imimoya focuses more on the nature and origin and complexity and makeup of your ancestral spirit, okay? So if you remember from lecture 1, I said body, mind, and spirit. Now I'm saying, okay, what? And then we went on to Siyabonga. Now we're saying, okay, fine. This spirit, where does it belong to Amatong? Because remember, lecture 1, I said body, mind, spirit. Spirit, itong, which comes from Amanyamatong. And then we said, okay, surname is about what surname or Amatongo does this single itongo belong to? Now I'm saying, okay, sharp, now we've got the right surname, okay? We know that we have an ancestral spirit to look after. Now I'm saying, what is the nature of that ancestral spirit? Let's tuck in. Let me explain. Isinguni, right, is imimoya yasekai, in the sense that it is inherent in the family. It is brought up. It's not necessarily something that you introduce into the family by marriage or ingane, but it is in the family, and it is most common in the South African population because it originated here. These are more your earth, land, and mountain spirits. So you're going to say to me, okay, fine, how do I know what's in Nesinguni? Abantu abanesinguni are those that are going, when banemimoya, or sorry, when they have imbono or bayaphupha, they'll see a lot of lush green grass, or basentabeni isikhathi esiningi, or they spend a lot of time in places where there is large, open, vacant land, and in their dreams, they won't see a lot of water. They'll see a lot of land. Vast land sometimes, okay? There are 2 types of ubnyanga or subcategories, right? Imdigi, nimdao. Imdigi is inherited in the family, right? And can be for men and women. In other words, amakhehle noma izalukwazi can have imdigi, right? Imdigi uses impande emhlophe for igobongo. So guys, please, when you focus on why I'm choosing to mention the forms of treatment and types of animals used for each imimoya, because depending on the nature of imimoya yako, that will determine intwaso yakho, if kuhamba kanjani, ubani ongakuthwasisa. How can you be treated if you go for treatment? What animal can be used? So umuntu onemndiki, right, uzosebenzisa impande emhlophe for igobongo. Okay. Amandawe. This type of imimoya, it has to be brought into the family. It is not inherited. You have to actively marry someone or have a child with someone who has isindawe. So if nimdeni yesnguni namandiki, you act in order for you to bring it in, it has to be brought in. And this is the one that can be brought in via marriage. Okay? That is why it is specifically unique to izalukwazi. Yikho nje your chances you're not going to find umuntu wesilisa onesindawe or amandawe, right? Because it's specifically unique to izalukwazi. Okay. Obviously, look, it depends on, when I say it's unique to izalukwazi, it means imimoya yezalukwazi are the ones that carry isindawe, right? That is why it is important ilobolo goes through and you respect and appreciate umuntu wesifazana, irregardless of what happens between you and her. Ngoba, right? Lo muntu wesifazana that you are marrying or that you are having a child with, right? Lesalukwazi is bringing in spiritual diversity into the family that was not there in the first place. Yikho nje we cannot neglect ilobola. Yikho nje we must appreciate her and respect her even when the husband is gone. Yikho nje, and I said the same thing in the first show, kunemndeni that have 5 sons and all of them are not getting married because emdenini, there's someone that you disrespected or did not treat properly because they brought you the diversity, they brought amandawe to you in the form of marriage, but you didn't appreciate and respect that diversity, the blessing of that diversity. Okay. But please, guys, don't confuse isindawe with umdawe. Sorry, amandawe with isindawe, which is of the people of Mozambique. I'm going to get into that now. And then after the next slide, I'm going to take some questions. What is isindawe? Okay, sorry, guys. Let me go back here. Isinguni, when people are, I just want to speak about the healing of abantu abanesinguni. Isinguni can be healed using a goat, a sheep. Sorry, are specifically healed using a goat. Bangayidla igobongo. And on top of that, if bazotwasisa umuntu onesinguni. Okay. So if umuntu uzothi cha no ngizokulapha noma ngizokugeza ngengulube, no. Or noma ngizokulapha ngigeza ngemvu or idopra, which is what the next topic is, which I'm going to explain now. No, that's not for you. Wena unesinguni, therefore uzolashwa ngani? Ngembuzi. Or noma uzogeza ngembuzi. And you can take igobong, which is different to isindawe. Isindawe is very rare, or it's not as common as we think in South Africa, because it originated from the people of Mozambique in a place called Enyambe, in Isofala. This can be found from Enyambe all the way up to Mshanga, and is a waterborne spirit, or it is a waterborne type of spirit that has no in between. So when things go very slowly, Namandao, they go very slowly. As in, you'll do something today and you'll only see results 10, 15 years from now. But when they move, they move. But with that moving comes the aggression, no laga as well. So there's no in between Nesindao. It's either everything is going to happen next week, but with everything happening next week, uzosindo abadala, and it's going to physically be demanding, mentally and spiritually demanding, and it's going to put a lot of stress on you, or you're going to wait for 10, 15 years, maybe even 20 years to see the result. So there's no in between with Isindawa. They kind of do whatever they want, you know? And the method of healing with umuntu onesindawo is igona. So if you guys look there on the top right corner, you can see that shape, and you guys are going to say, oh, what is that? That is igona. Noma ngesiZulu sibizwa ngegula, right? That is how we heal, is ngabantu abanesindawo, is igona. Right? Not to say that that the forms of healing are better or worse between isindawo and isinguni. No, I am simply saying that umuntu onesinguni cannot be given igona ngoba igona is ayabantu abanesindawo. Okay? On top of that, umuntu onesindawo, right? Or unomnono, let's say that. Okay? They are not heavily dependent on impande noma imithi, but rather ekugezeni nokuhlanzeka. Okay. Whereas isinguni, they will present impande to itongo and see what itongo does with it, whereas we're not as heavily dependent on impande when it comes to isindawo. It's more about ugezi itongo and then let itongo heal itself, if that makes sense. And then abantu abanesindawo don't use igobongo, basebenzisa ibhulu, which is a type of gobongo. So you need to ask your healer, uzothi cha ngizokunikeza igobongo, but when you know ukuthi ngembono yakho ukuthi no, I've got isindawo, but athi no, ngizokunikeza igobongo, umbuze ngebhulu, it's like, oh, is this ibhulu? Athi yini lokho? Beware. Anyway, and then before you can treat the patient, you actually kind of need to right? These are the types that bafuna ukuhlawula kuqala ngaphambi kokuthi kulashwe. Okay? And the animal that you use when treating or ukuhlabela umuntu onesindawo is not a goat, but it's a special kind of goat called a Dopra or a Persian. If you Google it, you'll come up, and it's a type of goat. The avid farmers on this page will be able to tell you about. I'm sure someone can describe what a Dopra or Persian is, but I know that it's a specific kind of goat. And people that have this are not necessarily wanted because idlo zilabo liphezulu kakhulu. And it is very, very expressive, very aggressive at times, and can be difficult to live or be or date with someone onesindawo or onemnon, Okay, before I move on, I just want to answer some questions first before we proceed. So I want to first, guys, I'm taking questions now related to the topic. Wait, okay, let's just take some questions. Okay. Right. Where do rainmakers fit into it? Rainmakers, what are you referring to when you say rainmaker? You're calling about Mkhize. Would it be better if you climb up Zulu? I'll be understand. What do you mean by rainmakers? If you can just clarify that for me, please. Okay, that's not necessarily a question. Thank you so much, Judy. Thank you very much. Okay, I don't see any questions about what I've spoken about, Dimimoya, so I'm just going to carry on. Just going to keep going, guys. We're just going to keep going. Okay. All right, we're just going to keep going. Okay. So, when it comes to knowing yourself, it is spiritual awareness is absolutely imperative to your treatment and also navigating your life. You need to know the nature of itongo lako, right? Because that'll determine how you can be healed, who is qualified to heal you. I've just spoken to you guys now. You can't, if mina nisindawo, right? I.e. abalos, I can't be healed by someone onesinguni. Yebo umuntu onesinguni can identify that there's something wrong with me and that needs to be done. And then he must be the one to refer me to umuntu. Or if he doesn't know anybody, he must say to me, listen, lemi moya yakho or lehlos lak liphezulu kunelami, and I can't heal you. And vice versa, if nesinguni, I can't heal or be healed by someone or abalos. And I can't be initiated by ugobela that has an opposing or alternate an opposing ancestral spirit. And then I need to know what kind of herbs and medicines can I use. If nabalozi or imnono, i.e. is ndawe, then I am a waterborne spirit. I'm drinking ipul, not necessarily ikobong. You know, what animals must be slaughtered for me? What kind of beads? What garments should I be familiar with? What kind of totems should I look out for when I am dreaming, depending on imimoya yam? You know, so understanding the nature and knowing and knowing the the characteristics of the nature of imimoya yako is very important. Okay, all of this needs to be done, guys, before going to seek help from a traditional healer. All right. And then now the reason imimoya is important for you to guys understand is that emandulo, they understood a fundamental when it came to imimoya. They understood the rule, the third rule, diversity, and then the need that nature will always strive for diversity. Okay. On top of that, they understood that in order for us to have this diversity, imimoya must oppose one another between the two people that are going to get married and have children, because children inherit imimoya from their parents. And I'm going to explain to you where the fear of having imimoya efanayo comes from. Now, before I begin, people are gonna go back home and break up with their partners and say, no, it's imimoya efanayo, therefore it's not gonna work, we're not meant to be. No, that's not the case. Emandulo, they were limited because they didn't have the means to do research and investigation, which is what we do at Umsamo Institute. Now that we are doing the research and investigation, we can now understand, and because we understand it better, we can now treat it, and we can now actually live with the one we have chosen, even if it's imimoya efana. Okay. And also, they understood that diversity and equilibrium run hand in hand. And that without diversity, what you risk is death or loss of life. Let me explain. Okay. Let me explain what I mean. Let's say kuno baba no mama that are going to have a child. Okay. If umama is isinguni and ubaba is umnono, right? Therefore, the child can be either one. The more dominant one will be the one that the child takes, right? So now, if you look at this triangle, the last time you guys saw a triangle on this educational thing, on this educational program, was when we were speaking about body, mind, and spirit, right? Triangles are very important in African spirituality. If you look at this diagram here, you can see that there is not 100% of one kind of imimoya, because the presence of ingane means that they can be either isinguni or isindawe, right? There is room for diversity. There is accommodation for diversity because umama no baba are different. Okay. When there is no diversity, guys, flaws are exacerbated. Okay. The reason why doctors and geneticists say that don't have a child, the reason why incest is so dangerous, apart from it being just morally shunned upon in society, genetically speaking, when you have a child with your sister, okay, you exacerbate the genetic flaws that exist between you and your, because everyone has flaws. Everyone has genetic flaws, right? Every family has genetic flaws. But if you're going to take two people of the same gene pool and you're mixing them together, you're not introducing any diversity. Therefore, what's going to happen is that you are going to exacerbate or further the genetic flaws. The same principle applies to imimoya and spirituality. Okay, aba emandulo and abata, they understood ukuthi imimoya ayifani for a reason. The reason God gave us imimoya ngefana is because he knew ukuthi there's going to be flaws between imimoya. Yikho nje ngisho isinguni nesindawo, they have subcategories as well, because diversity is important. So now, okay, so at any given point in time, diversity will be something that abadala strive for. Yikho nje, you know, there's a beautiful saying that goes, whatever you hate ends up in your family. So sometimes sometimes the thing that you don't want the most, because you feel this family needs to remain pure and we want one type and this is who we are, is the thing abadala want, because they want that genetic diversity. That is why I said in the very first time that the person for you or your family can be outside of your race. Ngoba, and that is why throughout human history, people, despite laws and policies trying to restrict people from interacting with one another, they still interact with one another, they still slept with one another, they still married one another outside of their races, because this is what they didn't understand. Uguti, abadala namatongo work to a very different system than we do. They strive for diversity. Okay. So now, how do twins come about? Before we tuck into the spiritual, I just want to speak about how twins. There's two kinds of twins: identical twins and fraternal twins. Identical twins, one egg, one semen, and then it splits, and then the zygote after fertilization separates. These are genetically identical twins. Fraternal twins, this is where one can be a boy, one can be a girl. This is where the woman will release 2 eggs and 2 sperm for 2 eggs. That's what will take place. Okay. And I'm going to explain to you how these actually take place from an ancestral and spiritual point of view. Let me just check out if there's any questions before I proceed. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take your questions. I actually see a few questions here that are I'm actually going to be answering, right? Okay, let me just answer a couple here. Okay, let's just take a few questions and tuck into a few questions. I don't wanna just keep going on without taking on a few questions. Okay, let's go. Yeah, okay, can one have both isinguni and isindawe? Yes, that is possible. I'm going to answer that now. That's the duality of imimoya. I'm going to explain to you that why that's possible. Crocodiles, water snakes in dreams and vision. Is that isindawe noma umdawe? Crocodiles, water snakes, possibly water snakes, definitely isindawe. So in other words, umnono, waterborne spirits, abalos. Very aggressive. That doesn't so do the water dreams confirm if you're having water dreams and you're very aggressive? Look, aggression can also come from abantu abanesindawe. But typically it is most characteristic with abantu abanesi abantu abanomnon, i.e. waterborne spirits, abalos. Okay. Abantu abanomnono, they're too clean, always angry nje. Definitely, yeah, definitely. I'm speaking from experience in the sense that my Dr. Mkhize isn't necessarily always angry, but he's a big neat freak. And abanye abantu that have esibathwasisile abanabalozi or abanomnono they are big neat freaks. I don't know why. Not to say that abantu abanesinguni are not neat freaks, but I think for some reason characteristically it is quite familiar with them. Ubam Mkhize falls onto which I'm assuming you're referring to Dr. Mkhize. He is Isindawe Umnono, i.e. Abalos, from Mozambique, which is where he completed his initiation. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Okay, let's keep going. So Isindawe Mnono doesn't necessarily have to be family. So Isindawe doesn't necessarily have to be family. No, this one can be brought in. This one can be brought in. This one cannot be brought in. The one that can be brought in, the one that can be brought in, I've already mentioned that it is Amandawa. That is the one that's brought in. With Izalwas, that's the one that's brought in. Okay. What's the difference between Umdawe and Isindawe? Okay. Umdawe is from Isinguni. Isindawe has Umnono, right? So Umdawe is from Isinguni, which is the land and mountain people. Isindawe has Umnono, which is the Waterborne spirit, Abalos. Okay, I hope that clears up for you. Okay. Okay, Thokoza. I heard one from Wapo. He said, if you are getting dreams having sexual intercourse, that means you have imimoya yesindawe. Can you elaborate more ngalokho ukuthi intimacy nemimoya kuhlangana kanjani? Okay. There's a love, relationships, and intimacy talk which has been scheduled, and this is kind of a precursor to that conversation in which I'm going to tackle these kind of issues, because I need to also talk to you about intimacy and love from a spiritual perspective before answering this kind of question, because my explanation isn't going to make sense. So please just hold on to your question for about a week or so. Things like umhlahi, forward. Okay, so first of all, I just want to, for those who don't know what umhlali is. Umhlali is someone who is able to look at you and simply tell you ukuthi ubani ukuthakatha. If we are thakatha, that's what umhlali is. Wenza njalo. They are just by simply looking at you, they're able to tell you exactly who is doing it, how many times I've done it, and how they are doing it, and also how to get rid of it. Very, very unique, very, very specific. They don't necessarily fall with Isinguni or Isindawe, but rather that is a type of healer that you become, if that makes sense. So I'm just speaking about, remember, we're building up to the types of healers. I'm speaking about the nature of Mimoya, and then whether you're Isinguni or Isindawe, it doesn't necessarily determine what kind of healer you can become, if that makes sense, because you know you have Mhlali, Umtandazi, Inyanga, Isangoma, Isanus, you know. So it doesn't fall within either what. You can be either or. So if you're Nisinguni, you can be that. If you're Nisindawa, you can become that. Okay. Hello. Is it possible ukuthi abantu bathwase bengu-3 kumndeni owodwa bese hayi bese uma uyohlola bakutshela ukuthi nawe kumele uthwase hayi. Thank you for bringing this up for me, Ntobeko, because yes, there's this trend that happens, especially with abantu abanamawele, especially with not necessarily abantu abanamawele, but in general, where bathi no zonke ingane zakho zo4 kumele ukuthi bathwase, or zonke zo3 kumele ukuthi bathwase. No guys, akuhambi kanjani. Abadala, they will pick one in the family ukuthi athwase. In that generation. Sometimes abadala will even skip 2, 3, 4, 5 generations before they pick someone. They won't say ukuthi nonke nu 3 and twas. No, guys. If nonke nu 3 ekhaya nyakula, or ninenking, or you're not well, there's problems or troubles in life, no 3 ekhaya, your siblings, you and your siblings, right? Then it could be a surname issue, a historical issue, or alternatively, what it might mean is that there's an issue with abazali, something your parents have not done or did do, because mhlambe uma wakho noma wakho bekumele ukuthi athwase yikho nje nonke. Then in that case, nonke, you'll feel the same type of pressure nengcindezo and suffering. If one parent from your generation was meant to athwase, nina no 3, right, from that parent might have life issues. But other than that, no. Okay, so she's talking about totems, images, one would get if they have umnono. So apart from the actual water and being in the water and swimming in the water, you'll also be dreaming about waterborne animals a lot, water snakes, crocodiles a lot, especially crocodiles. Look for your waterborne animals. The animals that live in the water are the ones that will come out predominantly to you. And on top of that, you're either going to have a great affinity for water, like you really, really love water, and you constantly want to swim, you want to go to the beach, you want to dance in the rain, you love water. Or alternatively, you are petrified of water. You cannot, like, even showering for longer than 5 minutes is too much for you. You hate water. Yeah, well, those are the kind of signs that you should look out for. But the crocodile is the crocodile and the water snake is, of all the animals, those are the ones that come out particularly. Crocodile and the water snake are the ones that come out, the ones that jump right out at you. Amabhubesi, the leopards, those kind of those kind of land-based animals are going to be more for Isingoni, and you're going to see that because you're only going to see them if they're on land. You're not going to see Bubesi emanzini. You know what I'm saying? So your Isinguni, you're going to be looking at your land-based kind of animals. Okay. Okay. Thokoza Jamini, he's asking. I'm just going to translate as I read. He's asking, what is the work or function of Inyang? Okay. It can fix Umsamo Inyang. Yes, Umsamo. Can inyanga fix umsebenzi? Okay. Ivumelekile yini umuntu wangaphandle kwegceke ukuthinta or ukukhuluma emsamo wesinye igobonga ukulungisa umsamo omunye. Okay. So basically uDlamini is asking us, what is the function of a healer? Can a healer fix umsamo wako? And on top of that, are they allowed, or is it appropriate for someone of the outside the family to carry out seminaries for you at your homestead and speak Umsamo wako at your homestead of another surname? Is that allowed? Dlamini, mhlambe bongekho ngesikhathi siqala lo hlelo wanamhlanje. Inyanga is there to guide the family when it comes to umsebenzi that needs to be done. When umsebenzi is taking place, inyanga ihlale ekhaya, ithi dekle, nimfonele sithi cha, kwenziwa kanje. Inyanga says, okay, fine. Ingane idinga imbeleko. Ekhaya nenza imbeleko for ingane. Inyanga ihlale ekhaya. Inyanga cannot get up, come to your house, ishisa impepho kini, ishisa impepho emsamo wakini, ikhuluma emsamo yakini, esibayeni sakini, iniphathele umsebenzi kini. No, Inyanga cannot do that. Inyanga should not do that. Nina niyaziphathela umsebenzi njengengane zasekhaya, and you carry out umsebenzi as you were taught. So ekhaya, if you were taught ukuthi emva kokuhlaba imbuzi niyayiphanya nje kahle, uconsa igazi nenza njalo. Hayi inyanga ukuthi ifike ithi cha no, ningayiphanya imbuzi, thathani imbuzi niyipheke manje. Did you get what I'm saying? So unless you are a member of that family ngokwegazi nemimoya nesintu, awukwazi ukushisa impepho khona, awukwazi ukukhuluma khona, and on top of that awukwazi ukuphatha umsebenzi. The only Dr. Mkhize has been practicing for over close 10 to 15 years, and he has not once left his house ukuphatha omunye umsebenzi omunye umuntu kwenyigceke yomunye umndeni. The only time Dr. Mkhize has left his home is ngoba sekuphuma ithwasa, or mhlambe simenyiwe nje as guests. That's it. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. Just so we can, and then I'll come back to your question so we'll have time today. Okay, right. So now I've spoken to you guys how twins come about, and I've spoken to you how fraternal twins and identical twins come about. Okay. So how do twins come about? Right, let me explain. Remember what I said about the third law. Everything in life will strive for diversity. Emandulo, or back in the day, you guys will hear, maybe some of you have heard about Uguti, when twins were born, they would kill the one and bury it, right? The reason Emandulo, they feared they would do that is because there was a fear that either the mother or the father would pass away. Okay. Now, to someone from the outside, it would seem quite barbaric. And then I took the time, and Umsamo, we'd been doing this research for a while, and we actually took the time to think about where would this fear come from with the understanding of imimoya. Okay. Let me go. So now let's say you have umama onemnon, ubaba enemnon. The child can only be umnono. So now if you remember my rule about diversity, there is absolutely no diversity here. Nature strives to reach diversity. Therefore, emandulo, they feared. Therefore, because the child is the blessing, the child cannot go. Some way, somehow, room must be made to accommodate or have the potential for diversity to come along. The child won't die because the child is the blessing. And that is why emandulo, they feared ubaba or umama uzohamba, because you want this situation. Therefore, you want diversity. So by their fear of either Uma or Baba is going to pass away is because they understood Uguti Yeman. There's no diversity in this triangle between Ubaba, Umama, and Ngan. Therefore, if Abadala decide to take Ubaba or they decide to take Umama, that leaves Iskala for someone else to come in and actually bring that diversity back. Therefore, by one of the parents dying, iskala for diversity to be reintroduced to the family. Yikho nje emandulo, they actually buried the one. Yikho nje emandulo, they buried the one, but akuphila ingane yodwa. Sizama ukudoja, sizama lokhuzana to avoid ubaba noma umama passing away. Yabo? Okay? Because here we go. Here's what happens. When umama no baba have a child and the sperm and the egg will come together, right? And those of you know that Physics 101, think about what happens when you have two like charges that come together. They repel. And you get two identical twins. So physiologically, you have the egg. But when you have that fusion, the spiritual battle begins, and then the spiritual repulsion. The spiritual repulsion manifests itself in the form of two zygotes, i.e. twins. You have to have a triangle, because amawele are one person, right? They're one person, okay? Amawele. You now have two human beings where there should be only three. Okay? So emandulo, they're like, wait. So they understood it was in nature, we need balance and diversity. Yikho nje, they feared by umama or ubaba passing away. Okay? This child goes there, this child goes to where ubaba was, and then you have a triangle again. Yikho nje emandulo, they feared that either the mother or the father was going to pass away, because they knew the triangle must always be maintained. The triangle must, Illuminati. The triangle must always be maintained, because you can't have four in the triangle. But now, here's the thing. Twins are possibly one of the greatest blessings that you can get. But in order for you to get twins and for your twins to survive, you kind of need to go against the rules of nature. I'm going to explain further now what I mean. So that's how twins would come about, is that the spiritual repulsion would actually result in two identical twins, right? Yikonje, we say they are one person, and actually they share imimoya. So if you're looking there in the diagram, child 1 and child 2, they take 50% imimoya, 50% imimoya. 50. So they share imimoya, right? And I'm going to explain to you why it's so important for certain rituals to be carried out when one passes away because you share imimoya? What happens when one passes away and then one continues to live? What happens and how do you deal with that? Okay. You see, now that is identical twins, right? Because guys, Nikumul, Emandu, they didn't have the research and investigation and whatnot. They just had the understandings of the principles. Okay. What are fraternal twins? But now you're going to say, okay, Siyabonga, how do fraternal twins work? Okay. Right. This is where a woman releases 2 eggs. Okay. And then both are fertilized. These are still twins. Technically, they are still one person, even though there are 2 eggs. They are still one person, right? But the belief is only one child is meant to come at a time. That is the belief, and they're going to share lemimoya, right? So now, why then does this woman release 2 eggs? If ubaba unemnono, umama unemnono. Remember what I said about diversity. By having 2 eggs, you introduce the possibility of one being fertilized by one man and the other one being fertilized by the other man. Therefore, you can have diversity. By having 2 eggs, right? I'm not saying that's actually physiologically possible, guys. I'm just speaking here from an African spiritual perspective. By having 2 eggs, right, you increase the chances of there being diversity because the one can be fertilized and then the other one can be fertilized, right? Because in this case, mama no baba bahlangana bathandana bajola bashade. This spiritual clash is like, wait. How can we go back to diversity? And then release 2 eggs. Okay. So twins, the reason why twins are so difficult, or twins are difficult to understand and navigate, is because it is a blessing that only comes about by completely going against the rules of nature. All right. So in order for Abadala to give you twins, guys, they have to go through a lot. They have to bring of different imimoya. They have to make sure with lemimoya aishaisani for that long that you guys can actually live long enough and live together long enough and tolerate each other enough to actually sleep with one another and have a child. That is how, and you have to go against this diversity thing that nature strives for them to bless you with amawel. Okay. So because because twins are one person spiritually and they share imimoya, isilwane enizosebenzayo is only one. So when you do imbeleko, you only do one mbeleko. When you do mhlonyani, only one. Ngesikhathi sakhuliswa, only umemulo, only one cow. So they must be treated as one person when you're coming to do izinto zesintu. Obviously, look, when it comes to doing our 21st or sweet 16 or you know, that's fine. You can have separate birthdays, you can have separate celebrations. But in terms of umsebenzi wesintu nelwane, must be one. Oba, they are one person. Okay. So that being said, guys, understanding that twins are one person. When one passes away, okay, what needs to happen is you need to follow a specific protocol in order for the other one not to come back and fetch the other twin. Let's say 2 twins are born. They live till about 10, 15. Maybe the one passes away for whatever reason. I don't know. On the day of the funeral, what needs to happen at some point in time, both of them, emgodini, they both need to lie together emgodini, right? Then ubaba sekhaya uzokhuluma amazwi athi, and he must say, ukuthi, in this hole is the person who has passed away. In this hole is 100% of imimoya, right? And then the one that is living will get up and will get out of the hole. What is the significance of that? The significance of that is because, remember, 50% of imimoya ilaim kodini. 50% of lemimoya is now moving on to the afterlife. Okay? Imimoya cannot separate and live on two different planes. So you can't have one living with the living and the other one living with the dead. It cannot, right? So that is the dead will come and fetch the living. It is so important that if one twin passes away, they must lie together in that hole. You speak the words and you say, "Uthi right, sbanbani," and you need to be specific with imimoya ehamba. Don't just say hamba nemimoya yakho. No, you must say, "Uthi wena wafika nalesi ndawo, senyahamba ke manje nobabili nesindawo sakho. Hamba ke nesindawo lesi, hamba nesindawo esiphelele. Umdedele nimkhulule umntwana ophilayo." And you must be specific so that the one that is living angabizwi noma angalandwa lo osanda kushona, or the one that passed away. So now people don't do this, and then kunengcindezo in the twin that is living, that is currently alive. So sometimes, guys, I do understand, and I'm going to get to it now, how some of us actually don't know that we're twins, or you don't realize that you're twins, that you are a twin, and you have mimoya mbili. That you don't know you're a twin. Let me explain. Now we're getting to our special case. Vanishing twin syndrome is when one twin disappears. Before we had, before we had ultrasound, we would actually only figure this out after examination of the placenta after birth, right? Vanishing twin syndrome is in the first, let's say the first trimester, you go for your ultrasound, you got 2 heartbeats, great, that's cool, you're having twins. You go back in the second trimester or early third trimester for your next scan. Now there's only 1 heartbeat and there's only 1 child that's visible. The other twin has been seen to vanish. I'm not going to talk too much into the science and the medicine behind it, because obs and gynecology is not my specialty, so I'm not really going to comment on that. But what I do understand is that the fetal tissue is reabsorbed in either one of 3 places: the twin that is living, the placenta, or alternatively, umama. Okay. So that means when someone is a twin, bengazi, right? That individual, right, the twin that passed away, can have part of it sitting with umama and have part of it sitting with the actual twin. Yabo. So manje umama unemimoya yakhe, right? But on top of imimoya yakhe, she's got her child that passed or that disappeared, right? Or alternatively, in the placenta that is thrown away, okay? Those that opt to not keep the placenta, that is thrown away as medical waste, in that placenta was the fetal tissue of the other twin, okay? So now what do you do in this instance? So I'm speaking for those that don't know that they were a twin. Some of you don't know that you were a twin, and you need to find out, what was I a twin? And you need to go back emlandweni wasekhaya, because manje you know about imimoya. So now you're going back and you say, okay, fine, ugogo ube nemimoya njani, umkhulu ube nemimoya njani, uma unemimoya njani, ubaba unemimoya njani, you know what I'm saying? So you're going back, man. Now there's a different layer to your family tree now. Now we have a layer of imimoya. Okay. So manje, in South Africa, we have young men and women walking around not knowing that they were twins. We have young women not knowing that actually on top of imimoya, they have imimoya yengane that was lost. And also the father on top of that, because the father was also involved as well. So in this instance, in the instance where the fetal tissue 100% goes and sits on the onto the twin that is living, that's when what can happen in that instance is you can have imimoya emibili. In that instance, especially if you are, let's say you have a vanishing twin syndrome, when as umama you have some of the fetal tissue from the first twin, you have a third child, and that third child sits in the very same womb. Now, okay. So I'm going to explain at the end how it's possible. Sometimes abantu, very, very rare, they end up having both imdigi. Sorry, they have isinguni and isindawo, so both water and land spirits. Okay. Another one, another phenomenon. I'm going to answer your questions now, guys. Please don't worry. I'm definitely going to get to your questions. Is when a woman is born with 2 uteruses, right? Whether or not a woman has 1 or 2 cervixes, I believe that kind of can vary. But both uteruses, so a woman can have, literally as you're seeing in this picture, a woman can have twins in the one uterus, and she can have a normal single child in the other uterus. In the event a woman has 2 wombs, and both inside of them and she has children in both wombs, those children are considered as twins and must be treated as twins. So when twins are born, the day twins are born, you need to go back home, and you must thank the ancestors for the gift of twins, because I've just spoken to you now how they need to go against the rules of nature to give you this blessing of twins. And you must say, we welcome these twins into the family. That must be done. You need to do that if you're going to have twins. Okay. Second of all, when a woman has, in this instance, right? Okay. So someone asked here, how is it possible for someone to have two types of imimoya? Let's say twins can be born to people, twins can be born to people, in the very, very rare case, twins can be born to people amanemimoya that is opposing as well. It is a rare case, but umuntu wesifazane can be umnono and indoda ebe isinguni. Opposing, but still they have twins. Okay? In that instance, you have a twin, the one passes away, or vanishing twin syndrome, you end up with both isinguni nesindawe, forming one human being. Hence you have dual syndrome when it comes to imimoya. So in other words, and also on top of that, on top of that, so simply put, man is ngun, woman umnon. Spiritually, they shouldn't be having twins because imimoya, it's opposing one another, so there won't be that spiritual repulsion of the fertilization. But in the rare case that it does and it separates, when umuntu has twins, right? Because remember, the mother has imimoya, the father has imimoya. There are 2 children. Therefore, there's no need for parents and for imimoya to compete for a place amongst these children. Umnono la, ilokuza here. Okay? Now you have 2 sitting in the womb. But the one passes away in the womb, or you have vanishing twin syndrome, and then lemimoya, that is, let's say the one oshalai umnon, the one that passes away is nguni. The fetal tissue, I've just explained how fetal tissue is reabsorbed by the parent, by the twin that lives. Therefore, mina, as the twin that lives in the womb, I have umnon. But the twin that vanished, in inverted commas, is singuni. I absorbed the fetal tissue, therefore I have isinguni nesindawe. So that is how people can be dual, can have imimoya emibili, or they can have dual imimoya, and they can be both isinguni nesindawe. Very, very rare, guys. Usually, yeah, look, you can have glimpses of umhlaba and glimpses of water, but most of the time, guys, there will always be one which is more prevalent than the other. But in the very, very rare case, we do need to do it would be worthwhile doing that kind of study, which we'll definitely look into doing to actually getting a statistical prevalence of people abanemimoya mbili, you know. But the very, very rare case that your mother and your father are both opposing imimoya, and you have the vanishing twin syndrome happen at the same time, to have those events, to have all three events occur in perfect timing and in imperfect placement is very rare, but it does happen. That's why I'm saying if you are both, then chances are you are a twin, right? I'm going to get into this topic next week, but vanishing twin syndrome is also a form of ukuzalwa because usufika nomuntu lo muntu wahamba ebekhona next to you in the womb in the form of a body, but then usehambile wakushiya nemimoya, right? Therefore uzalwe wembethe. Okay, because there is the other half of a human that was with you. Okay, so I'm just going to tuck into some questions now before concluding with the family tree and how to look back on the family tree. Okay. Okay, so Ududu Shange is saying so everyone on her mother's side batwasa, and her mother said no. Manje, so now it's gone to her sister and herself. Yes, that is possible. It's not necessarily to say, I still do stand by what I said, that not everyone in the family was. What you might find is that the person that was meant to utatwase was umawake and her siblings badlale ngaye. Or mhlambe bekumele ukuthi kugezwe kuphela noma kugezwe umuzi or kwenziwe umsebenzi othize. That's what happens. But to say ukuthi sonke nje ekhaya so 5 kaMkhize so twasa ayi, there's always going to be one. And though in the event so Ududu just confirming what I was saying before, in the event one was supposed to, if you are the child or children of the one that was meant to go to twas angatwas, nonke nu 4 nizoba nenkinga noma nizoshayeka in some way, shape or form. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So Mavele, I will be doing this I'll do it again for you in isiZulu. For now, we'll be doing it both in isiZulu and isiNgisi for those that don't understand isiNgisi, and also for those to accommodate those abangakwazi ukuzwa isiZulu. So please, Marvel, tell me this isikhathi. It is definitely coming. Yes. Okay. Sure. Okay. I just want to see something here. Okay. I just hope I'm not skipping any questions. Okay, that's fine. Okay, guys, if you're gonna ask those that are asking about dreams, please consult we posted up videos in isiZulu and isiNgisi on how to handle dreams. I'll only answer a dream that is related to the topic of today. I'm just trying to focus in on our sessions, really try to keep them as focused as possible. Okay, I'll remove the last question now. Okay. Here's another question. Okay, kuyenza ukuthi ube ne-twin eli umoya. I-twin eli ngumoya. What do you mean by that? Cela ungichazele kahle wembatho ukuthi mawuthi ube ne-twin elingumoya usho ukuthini lokho baba? Mhlawumbe asizwane kahle noma mina angakuzwa kahle wembatha. Cela ungichazele kabanzi baba. Ngiyacela. Okay, right. Okay. Thokoza mkhulu, I have a pair of girls, twins amakhosi. Kukhona owathi abenzelwa ngezilwane ezimbili umuntu abe nesakhe. Cha, nope. They are one human being. They share imimoya. Therefore, only one isilwane. It's just one isilwane. Engithi, I've just explained to you ukuthi together and then they separate. Even if it's fraternal twins, right? Oh, sorry. you have twin girls. So I'm assuming they're identical twins. It's literally, they come together, you have fertilization, and then they separate and they part ways, right? But they come or originate from one. Therefore, kusetshenziswa isilwane esisodwa ngoba bawumuntu oyedwa, right? In the case, if it was the case that you use, okay, if the case was that you use different animals, right? Why is it that when one twin dies and the other one lives, the one that's living iyabizwa lo ongasekho? Because imimoya yakhe ophilayo, right? Other 50% is in the land of the dead. So please use one animal, because there are two. Use one animal because even though ngokwenyama there are two, ngokwemimoya there are one. So ungabheki inyama, bheka imimoya. Okay. Kokwethongo. Okay. Gonna be okay. Ngiyabonga kakhulu Mchunu for asking me about triplets. Triplets, same policy applies, guys. Same policy applies. Whether the triplets come in the form of two identical, one fraternal, or two wombs, two from here, one from there, or 3 different eggs. I don't know if that's physically possible. Oxalayo, at the end of the day, still one person, and they must be treated as one, even though they are triplets. I was just simply using twins in terms of 2 people for the sake of convenience and because it's the most common. But triplets must be treated the same way. They are also one person. Okay, right. That's to Kath Utini. I remember when I went for my scan in my first trimester, I was told I had 2 beings, and when I went for my second one, it disappeared. Yes, that is exactly. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maskosani, for coming out with an example, that someone that's actually lived through the vanishing twin syndrome. This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. So what I'm talking about actually doesn't happen in America or the USA. It happens also right here in South Africa. So your child, right, we Maskosan, lo ophilayo, ask him or her about imibono yakhe. And nimgade, right? Nimgade kakhulu ngoba she's going to have a lot of conflicting. She's going to be someone who's going to have a lot of conflictions and internal battles. Sometimes these people manifest in the form of bipolar or what else? Or multiple personality disorder. Ngoba lemimoya, there's 2 types of imimoya that is living inside of them that they need to resolve. And sometimes in healing, so when it comes to healing, you need to find out which one needs to be healed, and you heal that one respectively. So someone who is a victim or who's a vanishing syndrome case, definitely I would say you need to come through. You need to come for a consultation if there are problems. If there are no problems and you've done everything that needs to be done, then the child must just go on and live their best life. Okay. Okay. Guys, I'm just going through each question one after the other. Some of them are just comments, so I'm not really taking into the comments unless it's related to what I just said, or an example, for instance, like the last one there. Thokoza, this is a question I'm asking not related to this, but I'd like to know what it means to dream pouring alcohol at your partner. First of all, Ratebe, please can you consult? Can you look at our video on Upahla? And second of all, I'm actually going to discuss love and relationships and your ex's current partners, interactions with them, what dreams mean, if you're seeing what certain things can mean depending on how you're interacting with them in the dream. I'm going to tuck into that. Okay. Right. I went for a consult and I was told I was a twin and I couldn't believe it, but I don't understand. Now I do, since you have explained. What rituals do you do when you have a situation like that? Okay. First things first, guys, go back, speak to your parents or your grandparents, speak to your mother and your father. Be like, what happened during the birth? From the time you found out that you were pregnant all the way up until I was brought back home from Isbedlela or whatever. Tell me what happened. Find out from your mother what happened. Okay, I went for my first ultrasound. This is what happened. I went for my second ultrasound. This is what happened. I went for my third ultrasound, and this is what happened. In the event umawako is not around or you can't access that information, uzophahla. Emphahlweni wakho, I want you to ask abadala bakhombisa ukuthi imimoya yakho injani. Ngikwasemanzini noma ngikwasentabeni. You must ask, am I of the water or am I of the land? So once we know where you are from, and if they show you ukuthi you are from both, then that's how you may have an idea. Okay, fine. Maybe I was a twin. All right. And what rituals do you do when you have it? So if you found out that you were a twin now and your twin passed away, what you need to do is right, for that twin or ahamba. Right? Ngoba manje, what's going to happen is that twin is going to be, Lemimoya is yearning for you to come back because they need to 50% of your Imimoya is not there. So where one delay, there's two kinds of ways that you are a twin, but you don't know. It's either Pupuma and the Numa didn't notice, or Baba didn't notice, Nayo Dawatela Mklama didn't notice and they didn't really tell you. Therefore, you don't know, or you may have been a vanishing twin syndrome. So before you ask me what rituals do you need to do, I think you need to find out the nature of you being a twin. Is it a vanishing twin syndrome? Were you both alive and the other one didn't make it? What were the circumstances around you becoming a twin? How did you become a twin? All right. Because then that'll determine, okay, fine. If it's a vanishing twin syndrome, then unemimoya mbili. If it's a case of they didn't notice the other one passed away, then unemimoya yota, but the other half is a tunen. Hope that makes sense. Okay, Thokoza gogo ngicela ukubuza uma ithongwa unomzana wasemzini kuchazani or umntwana aphezu kwabanzi esigabeni kuchazani. Okay, ngicela ukubuza uma unomzana wasemanzini uchazani or umntwana aphezu kwamanzi esibhakeni kuchazani. Bongi, please can you just when it comes to dreams, please can you consult our dream umpahlo. That's the first point. Point number one, phahla, and record umpahlo wakho. Lokho bhala phansi. So bhala phansi ukuthi ngiphahle kanje, ngabuza lokho, and then record the dream in response to umpahlo. Point number one. Point number two, right? Unomzane wasemanzini. Uchazani uma or umntwana aphezu kwamanzi esibhakeni uchazani. So I'm not sure what your dream would mean per se, but obviously from what I'm seeing, uchaza manje kusho ukuthi ninabalozi or you are of isindawo. But I can't say for exactly per se what it would mean. Phezu kwamanzi esibhakeni. I can't say. It's difficult to describe it. Dreams is not one size fits all in terms of responses. Okay, can it happen that you were a twin, one vanished, okay, basically uzala wembete because my mom was carrying me and the doctor said she was carrying twins, but I was born alone, 12 at noon, which is symptom 12. Okay, another one, guys. I'm not confirming it medically. I'm just saying it sounds like it was another case of vanishing twin syndrome. It sounds like it. But yes, it can happen. So in your instance, right, you need to go back, go back to ma unemimoya njani, baba unemimoya njani. If uma no baba banemimoya engafani, right, uma nemnono, ubaba nesinguni, then you'll have both. Because remember, ngesikhathi niseswini kama wakho, nisesibelethweni sikama wakho, sikanini, there were two of you, therefore imimoya had a place. There was a place for each of you in terms of imimoya. Manje, there isn't that place. That place there's no longer that area, that room. So what was left here will come to you. And that's how you can become two. I hope that makes sense. Okay. But if uma bemnon, ba bomnon, ba bomnon. Therefore, wena unemnon. It's just that iminono was shared between yourself and someone else. That someone else passed away. Okay. So your next step, Michael, is you need to find out the nature of imoya ma no baba so that you can figure out when yourself. Once you know, am I both or am I one, but I'm sharing, I can move. You can then take the next step. Okay. Okay. Thokoza, is it possible ukuthi isithunywa sakho sibe kumunye umuntu but idlozi libe kumuntu omele athwase isindawo? Okay, before I answer, let me explain isithunywa, right? Because wonke umuntu sinesithunywa. Isithunywa is the governing body or element or person that determines the type of healer you become. All right. In other words, emva kokuthwasa, idlozi selithwasile, isithunywa then comes along, and isithunywa is the one that is going to tell you that no, wena you are going to be umfundisi, wena you are going to be isangoma, wena you are going to be isanusi. All right, that's what isithunywa is. All right, that's first and foremost. So to say ukuthi no nesithunywa is technically incorrect. But isithunywa will come when you're ready to determine, and it is the one that will determine the course of action. But to say ukuthi nginedlozi, idlozi lam liyabizwa ukuthi iyothwasa, that is correct. But to say ukuthi nginesithunywa, no. How nice to anazi isithunywa. Unedlozi elibizwa abadala balibiza ukuthi yazini leli dlozi alithwasa. That is correct. Okay, back to the question. Is it possible ukuthi isithunywa sakhe sibe kumunye umuntu but idlozi libe kumuntu omela athwasise isindawo? So to answer your question, making sense of what I've just said as well, isithunywa sakho will only be for you and you alone. It will be the one, it'll come to you and say, okay, fine, I want you to become a priest, or I want you to become a chemist, or I want you to become a sangoma, right? And then you ask, but idlozi libe kumuntu omela athwasise indawo. If umuntu umele ukuthi athwasise indawo, right? Zwane, you'll tell me if I'm not understanding your question correctly. I have no problem reiterating or making sense of it again, answering again. Umuntu okumele ukuthi athwasise indawo uzothwasisa indawo, right? And uzoba nesithunywa sakhe. Okay. So you can't necessarily like share isithunywa. So isithunywa sakho uzothwasisa indawo, emva kokuthwasa isithunywa sizothi hambe bomfundisi, or hambe ube umlaphi, or hambe ube isangoma. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, just let me know. Right. Here's another question. This is a bit lengthy, so you won't be able to see me. Okay. Thokoza, I have recently given birth to a baby girl and manje ngihlusha amaphupho wakubo baby. Ngithwasile, okay, umnguni nomndawe. Abamkhulu babefika bangitshela ukuthi ngiyafaneka emagcekeni wabo, and they are always giving me gifts, e.g. house, money, car. We were not married, but his ancestors are always coming to me and confused with what is going on. Can you explain this cause? Okay, so guys, you don't have to be married for you to be visited by your partner's ancestors. That's the first thing. Let me start there. By virtue of the fact that you guys are sharing the same space, you're sharing the same auras, you're spending all this time together, and they'll actually and they will visit you, right? That you don't have to be married. And also, it doesn't necessarily mean anything good or anything bad. It's actually a good thing, Sometimes it's a nice indicator to know what actually this person is the one by virtue of the fact that bona bakubo bayangivakashela. You know, sometimes I'm just saying sometimes it can be a nice indicator. Okay, so she's saying she's giving birth to a baby girl, and there are dreams that are troubling her partner, wakubo, baby. I'm assuming baby she means her partner. Let me know if I'm misunderstanding that. Uthwasile umnguni nomndawe obamkhulu babefika bangitshela ukuthi ngiyafuneka emagcekeni wabo, and they're always giving me gifts. So like I said, that's a sign. So they're telling you, okay, fine, if your partner's ancestors are visiting you, then that's for you. What you'll find is that they want that duality in the family. Hence, they want you to be in the family. They want to introduce that diversity. Because with you, that Utwasisumguni and Umdawe, because you were dual, that means now they can pick and choose which one they want in the family. I hope that makes sense. Diversity, guys. Remember what I said about diversity in the beginning. I hope that makes sense. Can one have both spirits without being a twin? In the very rare case, very, very rare, that both Isinguni and Isindawe from the mother are dominant. And usually what will happen, right, is that Umama no Baba Isinguni Isindawe, right? One will be dominant and the other one will be recessive. Those who know genetics will know that that's always the case. One is dominant, one is recessive. One is dominant, one is recessive. Okay, then the dominant one is the one that's going to be expressed. That's called phenotype. Genotype, and that's called phenotype, right? The one, but in the event, the most unlikely, the very, very rare event, right? It is incredibly rare because I think I've only ever heard, how many cases have we had that's the case? I think maybe one, maybe one or two, where both are dominant and both coexist and are expressed. It is very rare. It is very rare. Yeah, it's very rare. It's I think it's almost unheard of. It's very rare. And if that person, in the event that happens, then what you'll find is that both Umama and Ubaba were twins, but they didn't know of. Hence, Ingane has both, and they are both dominant because Engitsu Umama and Ubaba were both two people, but they are one. Now they've come together, hence you get that dominance, because dominance twin Uma, dominance twin Ubaba. You can't choose between one. They both coexist, and that's how you get that dominance. So chances are Uma and Ubaba were both twins, even though they're opposing. Uma was a twin of Umnono, Ubaba was a twin of Isingoni. They come together, and that's how you get that dominance. But in that instance, the twin from Uma would have had to pass away. The twin from Ubaba would have had to pass away. You know, you'd need that vanishing twin or that situation to have happened between Uma and Ubaba. But to answer your question, very, very rare, but yes, it is possible. Okay. Okay. Pumlani uthi cela ukubuza if wake waba namawele ase ashona kwaphinde kwaba namanye aqhamuka manje lawa akhona ayahlupha wenze njani entwana enjani. Okay, for those of you, I'm just going to translate. Upumlani is asking if you've had twins and then they pass away and you had another set of twins and they pass, and then the next set of twins that you have are going through some problems. What do you do? Okay, Pumlani, I'm gonna explain it to Pumlani in English, and I'm gonna explain it to the rest of you in English as well. Pumlani, isizathu ukuthi amawele akhona kwamanje ahlupha yingoba mekunamawele kuqala. One, mhlawumbe awuzange ubonge for amawele kuqala. Okwesibili, uwageze kanjani, uwangcwabe kanjani. Ngoba if wena nomama anigezi ningagezisi lamawele awahamba or aseshona, then lamawele alandelayo, right, azocindezelwa lamawele asashona. So for those of you, so uphumlani, what needs to happen, Baba, is that you need to go back. Ubheke ukuthi kahle kahle wenzeni for lamawele that passed away. Did you welcome them nembuzi wabonga abadala? Also, when did they pass away? How did they pass away? Was it an accident? Because then kumele ukuthi kuvalwe umkhokha. You know what what is the nature of their passing? Ngesikhathi nibangcwaba or ngesikhathi ngibangcwaba, did you use 2 animals or did you use 1? Because you need to use 1 ngoba they're only 1 person. You see, so please, Baba, 1, what did you do when they were born? How did they pass away? How did you bury them and what did you do? When anomani gezile, yebo noma cha nageza umuzi as well. Just answer those 4 questions for me, please, Baba. Ubhale phansi lapha encwadini yakho. Ungangitsheli bhala phansi lapha encwadini nibe la ngxoxo ngaphakathi kwakho noma wakho. And on top of that, ngicela ubheke umlando as well. If anybody ekhaya had amawele that passed away as well. Ngicela ubheke umlando either between ngicela ukubuza ugogo wakho ukuthi umlando wasekhaya uthini. Okay. So this person is basically asking, is it possible to have a microphone amaningi? Yeah, it is possible. It is definitely possible. So this is another reason. This is another possible underlying cause of multiple personality disorder or bipolar is when umuntu has different types of issues. Let me explain. I'm gonna tack into this later because I actually need to, because we're running out of time and I need to work. And actually, this is actually a whole lecture on its own. How umuntu can have a microphone amaningi. Okay. I'm gonna take one more question. Okay. Okay, but my wife gets the dreams, Mina, I don't. Okay, that makes sense, Baba. That makes sense. That's not the end of the world. Engithi uganile. Uma wakho, sorry, unkosikazi wakho ugane kini. Engithi uyingane yasekhaya. Kahle kahle. That's how uyingane yasekhaya manje. So ngesikhathi sokuphahla wena, if abadala choose to show her, qhubeka nomphahla. Use her dreams, and then when qhubeka nomphahla, kusho ukuthi she is the vessel that abadala want to communicate through, not you. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. Kunezinto that umuntu wesifazana uzokhonjiswa ngoba ukhumbule ubabhekela umuntu ususethe same ukuthi ngo spiritually umuntu wesifazana is elevated and she's greater than umuntu wesilisa. But I'm going to get into that another day. Okay, I didn't do anything for my girls when they were born because we didn't know. Okay, Virginia, please. Virginia, I can't remember. Were you referring? Did you have the twins? Did you have the twins? The twin girls. Yeah, I think I read a question about you having twin girls. Can you please just refresh my memory? I'm gonna take this will be my last one for the day, guys, and then we gotta go. Okay. Thanks, Sia. My mom says she has this ngoni, but my dad has unfortunately passed on. What then? Phahla umbuzo. Phahla umbuzo baba uzokuphendula ebusuku. So tonight, don't even waste time. Do it tonight. Tonight, do it tonight. Don't waste time. If you don't have hambe egarage uyothenga amakhandlela uphahla namhlanje ebusuku and find out. Hlala phezu kwendaba. Whilst it's still fresh and whilst this conversation is still happened. Phahla and keep going. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us this afternoon or this evening. Please continue to drop questions below, and someone will reply to you. You will get a response from our team. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I hope I didn't confuse you too much. Like I said, this is an ongoing process. You're going to learn a lot more. You're going to grow you, because essentially we need to think of ourselves as kind of coming in at grade 1, and we're working up all the way till PhD level. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to see about Dr. Mkhize and stuff, PhD, masters, and so on and so forth. People in Umsamo Institute, PhD. And Tina, our job is to come back and we're going to get you, we're going to work with you all the way up. So thank you very much for this afternoon, and thank you very much for taking the time out of your day. Please stay safe during this lockdown and quarantine period, and have a lovely evening. Thank you and good night.